It's the 1st of June. It's been 3 weeks since my last video, and if you hang on a moment, I'll tell you why. Maybe I should have chosen a different spot. I keep getting whitefly up my nose. I feel a little bit like David Bellamy used to in the jungle, peering through the plant. Hold on, I'm going to move my onions. Is that a little bit better? It's better for me. Yes, 3 weeks, Jane. What's been going on? Well, I tell you, it's not that we haven't been here. I mean, I'm going to show you around in a minute and show you what we've been doing. But it's been, as I'm sure, you know, if you've got any sort of garden or allotment or you grow anything, May is the busiest time of the year with regard to, well, everything. You can still be sowing, you can do your direct sowing, planting out, potting on, getting everything out. But when technology fails you, which it has me, then we've got no record. Basically, I came down, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? Maybe last week. And I filmed absolutely loads, and I double checked my film as I went along. I was checking back to see it had recorded, checked the first couple of seconds to see that the mic was on. I did have to keep resetting the mic, which should have made me a bit suspicious. But anyway, when I took it home and actually uploaded everything, I realised that the mic was only working for the first 2 or 3 seconds and then cutting out because the batteries had gone. So that was annoying. So to be honest, then the next few times I came up, I felt like I just had to get on. I just had to get my head down and get on with stuff. Plus, really luckily, Mike's been off work this week. So this last week, we've pretty much sort of let me get this straight, slept and breathed allotment. I hope that's all in the right tense. Eat, slept and breathed allotment stuff. And yeah, it's changed quite a bit. So I'm going to give you a look around and show you what we've done. I won't spend too long on any one thing, but yeah, I'll show you what it looks like now. And I'm going to have a chat with Mike because he went on a course, a Charles Dowding no-dig course last week. And if you don't know Charles Dowding, Mike will bring you up to scratch with him. But yeah, he's a bit of a guru. One of our gurus anyway, a bit of an organic no-dig gardening guru anyway. And I know quite a few of you have been on his courses. I know Sean James Cameron, he's been on, and I think he filmed a bit of his course, but Mike being Mike just got a photo. Oh, and a signed book. So anyway, we'll catch up with Mike about how that went on. I've been to an open day at a place called Hook's Green Herbs, which I did put on the Facebook page, and bought some fantastic herbs, so I'll go through those with you. And yeah, we've had to replace quite a few things that have died off. We've had to rectify a few issues. But yeah, I think first things first, let's show you where we're up to, and I'll give you a bit of a tour. Okay, greenhouse number 1 looks a little bit different to how it was when I last saw you. It's certainly been emptied out a bit, but that's because all the stuff's sitting on the table next door over there. But yeah, down this side, this is the final destination for my chilies and peppers. And then at the end here, I have got my burpless tasty green cucumber. Okay, so hopefully they are going to grow up there. And then on this side, really, I've just got my potting station and things that need to be done. So basically, in the next day or two, I'm going to be getting my hanging baskets sorted out. Who knows, I might even film it and switch the mic on. If we go into greenhouse number 2, open the door. Oh, it's got a lovely breeze here, actually. This little tunnel sort of between the two greenhouses, like, it's a bit of a wind tunnel, which is nice on a day like today. Okay, we've got, can you see my finger? Cucumber here. These are cucumber Melanie, and these are going great guns since we actually planted them out. You look at the size of them now. Oh, you'll like this. On this side, I've got some, oh, what make are they? Gardener's Delight tomatoes. And then I've got these Rambling Red Stripe tomatoes, which I put in. And I suppose the name should have given it away, really, but yeah, they're the sort you grow in a hanging basket. So I'm not going to do them in a hanging basket, I am going to do them in pots. But yeah, the word rambling should have given that away. So I'm going to take those two out there, and the 2 chilli peppers you saw in greenhouse number 1 are going to go in the soil there. So that should be okay. We are going to go through the vine jungle. Honestly, I've cut this back so much, and I know if you've got a vine, you're going to be screaming, Jane, you've got too many grapes on there, cut them, prune them, because otherwise you won't get nice, fat, juicy ones. You know what? I really like them at the moment. But yeah, obviously, look at this. This sort of thing needs cutting back, and I think probably every other grape truss is going to have to be chopped off. But it seems such a shame. They're a friendly bunch. What's going on with your raspberries, Jane? Well, I'll tell you what's going on with my raspberries. We had a line of polka raspberries here that we got from Pomona Fruits, and when we received them, I've got to admit they were in tip-top condition. I filmed myself planting them, and everyone exclaimed on how good the roots were. However, they died, or rather they didn't come at all. So we pulled them up. And then Mike came back one day with a pot of some summer fruiting raspberries called Glen Ample, and we put those in. The next day he came back from a charity shop with a package of unknown raspberries that he put on the other side. Rather a lot of raspberries now, you might think. Well, unbeknownst to Mike, I'd already ordered another 12 raspberry plants. Yes, another 12 polka, which arrived yesterday, and actually I need to get in as soon as possible. So where are we going to put them? We're going to put them back in here. However, that means now we've got to make a new bed to put the summer raspberries in, because I really want to have the autumn raspberries in this bit because they're easy to look after. So we've got to make a new bed, move these again, even though these ones don't look very healthy, put the polka raspberries back in there, and yeah, then we should be sorted, or at least that's the plan. Can you see all the weeds? Well, pretend they're not there. And this is the garlic. Now you can see it's actually quite clean. It's got no rust. The leaves are starting to yellow, but it'll be probably about another month before we start to harvest it. If I have a little look. Oh, I'm doing the wrong garlic. There you are. Have a little look. Oh, that is a, oh, this is a red one. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is handy. Mixed garlic. Okay. Oh yes, we did. We sent off and got like a surprise pack, and it was obviously the garlic they couldn't sell, and they'd mixed it all together, so we didn't know what it was going to be. So yeah, that looks like a nice red one in there. But what is happening is, if I can pick one up and show you, because these are hardneck varieties, we're starting to get flower scapes. So if you see one of these, they need to be taken off. If you don't, you'll find the energy from the plant will go into producing the flower at the exact time we want it to be going down and fattening the bulb. So go down as far as you can. Ideally you do a nice clean pair of scissors, but there you go. And there you have a scape. And actually all it is the flower. And you know, you can use chive flowers in salads. And sandwiches. Apparently our neighbour likes cream cheese and chive flower sandwiches because we're really posh. But these, yeah, have got an incredible garlic flavour, as you can imagine. You know, you could just bite into that, as I did the other day, and it can almost take your head off. But it's beautiful, so don't throw these away. You're growing garlic because you like garlic. Don't waste these bits. These are so, so tasty, so make the most of them. First bed. Shallots, doing well. Peas, doing well. Broad beans, doing well. Rocky not doing so well, and actually standing just exactly where I've planted my chickpeas. Rocky. What I'm really pleased with were those gigantes seeds that I put in that looked a little bit dodgy, but they're coming up. And along here are the purple cascade French bean, which were delicious last year. Can you see those? They're coming up fine. And then, oh my goodness, Jane, your Bellotti beans look very good. Yes, because I cheated. The ones that I sowed direct are actually coming up. I'll show you the difference. If I show you, let's have a look, see if I can find one now. Yeah, they're the ones that we sowed direct. So yeah, they were looking okay, but these ones had been in the greenhouse. And I've obviously got a bit of a head start. They'll probably slow down now they'll come outside. And I just thought, you know what, we've got them. I'm going to put them in. So yeah, I sort of planted between the direct sown one with some greenhouse sown one. But the ones, and I'm surprised by this, I'm moving you backwards. Oh my goodness, it's a sorry sight. Rocky, go and get your bone. The ones that haven't come up actually are the runners. So these were White Lady. Now runner beans, who can't grow runner bean? Well, I tell you who, me. Look, none of those have come up, so I've resown those. And at the end of that line, which you can't see, there's 3 empty stakes, and they were the Isabel, supposedly stringless runner beans. So again, I've direct sown some more of those in there. I've put a few in a pot in a greenhouse like as backups, but it does just show the importance of having some spares. You know, if not spare plants, some spare seeds to put in. But yeah, I've also picked really the last bit of goosegrass I can to go around these. And when I say that, it's not that we haven't got more goosegrass, but it is starting to bud now. And so clearly you don't want to be putting the flowers, once it's flowering, you don't want to be putting that in your soil. Everything's coming up well in the roots bed, apart from the parsnip. Now I'm not too surprised, it was old seed, and I know it's a tinker to try and germinate anyway, but yeah, we've sowed another line under some planks up there, so we keep checking, but nothing as yet. But we've got spinach, we've got beetroot, we've got turnip and radish, we've got some carrots, more beetroot, and more radish. So yeah, we're actually quite pleased with what we've got so far. And again, we're early enough in the season so that, I'm sorry, I'm being distracted here. I've never seen this behaviour before. What are you doing? You see, at what stage do we tell Rocky that this really isn't helpful? I think probably he should have been told before now, but I've never actually seen him do this before. What are you doing? What are you doing apart from getting a very soily nose? You funny boy. Okay, and I've got to say my very favourite part up here, which is under the, if you remember, the giant cooking apple tree, so we'll get covered in apples later on in the year. But as we enter, we pass the banana palm, which honestly, it is unfurling so much day by day at the moment. I know it looks a bit grotty at the minute, but it's an incredible thing. But this is my Four Sisters area. And I call it Four Sisters because it's not your traditional Three Sisters. What I've got is the sweet corn I've planted in the middle. Each one of those markers I've put a seed. Now they are not coming up at all so far. I direct sowed them. I'm going to give it another week I think, and if nothing's showing I will actually go and buy some plants. But there in the centre they grow tall. Around the edge I've got my, let me try and see if I can remember, Crown Prince, Butternut, Cheeky Prince, Invincible Pumpkin, Yuchikikiri. So they're all the squash, the winter squash, that will cover the ground. And then traditionally your third sister would be your bean, which would grow up and around the corn. Now we've done this before, and sadly it's been a case. Oh, I've just noticed that bag over there, look at that. That's annoying. Never mind, I'll pick it up in a minute. Traditionally, the sweet corn, there are three sisters who all support each other. The sweet corn provides the support for the beans. The beans provide the nitrogen in the soil to enrich the soil for everything else, and the squash spread and provide shade and keep the soil cool and moist for the other plants. So, okay, where's your beans, Jane? Well, I'll tell you where they are. They're down there. Because the year we did do it with beans, the beans took off like crazy and completely swamped the sweet corn and eventually dragged them over. So the beans have been evicted from our little Three Sisters plan, and we have brought in what sometimes people use in a Four Sisters plot, which is our sunflowers. So we've got 3 sunflowers on each corner, and the idea of those, if we want to look at a use for those, is they are brilliant for bringing in the pollinators. So yeah, that's my 4 sisters bed minus a sister. Anyway, here we have the man that I found in the potato patch, and this lucky man had an anniversary last week, and his dear wife bought him a lovely treat of a day out with Charles Dowding. Not a day out with him, but a day course with Charles Dowding. Whereas his lovely wife got a ball of string, seesaw string, which I'm allergic to, but it looks lovely.
Some 3-in-1 oil.
Some 3-in-1 oil, which actually, long after we've forgotten about the Charles Dowding experience, I'll still be using.
And a lovely meal at a pizzeria, new pizzeria.
And a meal. I'll still be using that 3-in-1 in years to come, and that'll be a good reminder of our anniversary. But anyway, since Mike's been on this course, I mean, I don't know if you've heard, I'm sure you probably have heard of Charles Dowding. He very much pioneers the no-dig approach over here. And yeah, he's quite a guru, I think. And I know since you went, Mike, you've been coming out with right old nuggets. Every now, that doesn't sound good. It does. It was little bits of information that he's gleaned from the course, and yeah. So basically, he makes a no-dig bed from cardboard. Let's see if I've picked this up right. Cardboard.
Clears the surface area first, roughly. So in other words, if it's grassy, cuts the grass down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cardboard.
Cardboard over the top in rectangles, big rectangles, 5 by 12.
Wet.
Cardboard with the staples removed.
This is in case the mic's not working again.
Cardboard with the staples removed and the tape taken off. Thoroughly soaked.
And then just tops that up with compost.
6 inches exactly of green waste compost largely.
Okay. And then
or cow manure, rotted down cow manure, things like that.
And by that, I suppose he's not disturbing the soil structure underneath, so he's allowing the soil to revert to its natural structure. And with that comes all the microorganisms, the mycorrhizal fungi. Didn't he say not to? He said if your soil is good enough and rested enough, you shouldn't need to use the mycorrhizal fungi on your plants, which is the powder that we've been told. And it does work. I've used it and it's great. It encourages your roots to get out into the soil. But that occurs naturally in soil, and I think the whole thing is about making your soil healthy enough to sustain plants. Sorry, Mike. Have I summed it up for you?
We tried this earlier. We tried this just a little bit earlier, and I talked too much about the science, and now what Jane's done is stop me, and she's talked all about the science. But that's better.
So but I like to think it's more condensed. Is that what I'm like all the time?
Yes, all the time.
Okay.
But when someone else does it,
I know, well, I found myself looking over there at pigeons.
So some of the interesting things in this approach.
Yes, please tell us, Mike.
Okay, so one of the interesting things is he doesn't use lime on his brassicas. There's no need to add lime. He doesn't believe in using fish blood and bone or bone meal or grow more or any of that stuff. It's just 6 inches of compost in the first year on top of that cardboard, and it's planting plants directly into the soil. So he doesn't sow very much seed.
Yeah.
He grows things in the greenhouse. He puts in, for example, beetroots in sort of little groups of 3. So they push each other out. And he doesn't do anything other than that except water it. And apparently the no dig system uses far less water. So actually, on his small holding, which I think is about it's a quarter of an acre, something like that. You can check that out. Is a quarter of an acre very much?
It's quite big.
It's bigger than a hectare.
I don't know what this is.
We don't know about hectares.
We
and
don't
acres.
know how big things
anyway,
are.
it's about the size of 4 or 5 allotments. He just waters it by hand, so he uses a hose. So the fact that he's got no sprinkler system with all this compost, and with the amount of crops that he does crop, is quite incredible, really.
And he does trials, doesn't he, between dig and no dig to sort of show. You said he's been quite scientific and quite thorough.
Yeah, and he's honest about the times when the dig method works better. And he often makes side-by-side comparisons, which is rare. It doesn't happen very often. But very occasionally, something will grow better.
All right, okay. I suppose that's according to what compost he's used and all this sort of thing. I mean, he
uses the same compost on both sides of his dig and no dig beds.
Oh, okay.
The only difference is that he incorporates the compost into the soil, digs it into the soil on one side in the traditional method, and on the other side it just lies on the surface.
It's a very interesting way of doing things,
and then all he does after that, in terms of fertiliser, is he just tops it up by 2 inches every subsequent year.
All right, okay.
And that's it. That's how he feeds the soil.
Yeah. I was going to say something really interesting. It probably wasn't very interesting. I can't remember now.
Would you like to know some of his other top tips?
Well, yes, Mike. I would like to know, the main thing I would like to know is what is the one thing, tip?
I had a couple of tips.
What are the two? the top tips. Never work.
Well, the first tip is have a look at his website and have a look at his channel. He's not the first person, I think, to come up with the idea of no dig.
No, we had that book, haven't we? Without Digging, was it called?
Successful Gardening Without Digging, by a very eccentric chap called James Gunston, which you can still find on Amazon.
Yeah, I think that's from the 1960s, isn't it?
From the 50s and 60s. He wrote it in 1960.
What's great about that is he makes his own tools out of like rakes and bits of hose to make drills and things like that, which is quite nice. But anyway, so top tip number 1.
Top tip, nothing to do with no dig. Use the hoe as often as you possibly can to keep your weeds down. Keep on top of it. He kept saying, keep on it, you've got to keep on it. No dig isn't like an answer to everything. You're still going to get weeds. Yeah. And Charles said, this weed that I've got here, that he thinks that's quite a big weed.
Oh dear.
And he showed that on one of his slides. He said, so that, if you get rid of that now, that weed, he said it's going to save you a lot of trouble later on. And I think his whole approach is about saving your back, saving time, saving effort.
Well, if he's doing a market garden, he's got to, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does it commercially.
Yeah,
and his second best tip.
Second tip.
I love this little tip. He only sows lettuce twice a season. I think I've got that right. Yeah. Twice a season, maybe it's more than that. But the traditional information or knowledge is that you sow lettuce every 3 weeks, something like that, in order to have a supply of leaves throughout the
successional
season.
Successional
sowing.
Yeah.
What he does is he just very delicately picks the outer leaves of the lettuce, lets the heart reform and puff out. So basically, he almost grows his lettuce a bit like people sometimes grow those Cavolo Nero.
Oh yeah.
They almost look like sprout plants.
Oh, I suppose
they've got stalks like this.
It's like perpetual spinach, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
You just keep pulling it from the outside.
Yeah.
And
So he manages to make a lettuce last for about 10 to 12 weeks, something like that.
It's amazing.
Well, I think it is an amazing little trick.
It is actually. It's a good trick. Sorry, I've just noticed the elderflowers are out, which is nice.
And I guess one more hint from him, which is interesting to hear about, is he doesn't believe in traditional rotation of crops.
Oh no, that was interesting.
Cobblers, or he says it was an idea come up with somebody in the 17th century, something like that, who I want to say he called Lord Turnip. I'm not exactly sure. It's all there in his book, Myths of Gardening. He thinks that, for example, cabbage can grow quite happily in a no-dig bed for 3 years, one after the other. Yeah. And same with potatoes, same with
Didn't he say it's quite intuitive? If you notice your crop starting to get sick, it might be time to move it round.
Yeah, exactly. But
there's no necessity.
I think he's trialling things like runner beans and broad beans in the same bed. I think he's had his runner beans in the same bed for 4 years, and they've just started to drop off now massively.
Yeah, which a lot of people do. They use the same bed, don't they?
Yeah, but all he does is 1 inch of compost, is 2 inches of compost per year, and then when he thinks it's time, he moves them on.
Was it worth going, Mike?
It was really good. It was really, really good. I very much enjoyed it. It was a lovely anniversary gift.
Anniversary. Thanks for that, Mike.
You're welcome.
That's really interesting. I do enjoy Mike's nuggets.
One last nugget. One last nugget.
Throw a nugget at me, Mike.
Charles sells some fairly sort of
Oh,
some very nice tools via his website.
I won't be
one
getting
thing that
one
he
of
brought
them.
along was one of these, a Styropo.
Oh, yeah.
And if you haven't seen a Styropo, well worth looking at. Really, really good. Bit of a pull you, push me action.
Push me, pull you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a really, really good tool, and probably my favourite hoe of all the hoes.
I think that might be my favourite nugget, and that's your favourite hoe.
Absolutely.
And on that note, I think we better stop. Okay, let's go and look at my herbs.
Is that okay?
Thanks, Mike.
Is that okay? You can cut
Well,
some-
I hope I filmed it.
That'll be all cut off. So what Mike was saying here is...
I think what he meant to say. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I went to a brilliant herb nursery last week, actually, this time last week. And what's great is because they specialise in herbs, there are so many different varieties. And just when you think, oh, sorry, I've got hair in my mouth. Just when you think you've got everything, you just see some more. And you go in thinking, oh, you know, I don't really need anything. But then you think, oh, hey, how can I not? So if I'm going to give you just a very, very quick look through and see if there's any that you recognise here. What I've got here is a creeping pennyroyal. And this is absolutely, oh, smell it. You smell it? Can you? You smell it now? The spearmint smell on that is beautiful. I think it's possibly the strongest mint I've ever smelt. Smelt? Scented? Smelt. Anyway, that is gorgeous. Got that. Oh, calendula, I grew those from seed. Borage. I've never grown borage, and I know a lot of people swear by it and they use the flowers. But this one's a white borage, which I thought would be quite unusual. So, and again, it's a perennial. So I'm going to pop that in. Poor thing's desperate for water. Going to pop that in. What else have I got? Oh goodness, I can't remember what this is. It's a mint. What sort of mint is it? I'll come back to it. Red vein sorrel. Again, I showed you our ordinary sorrel before, our perpetual sorrel. And the leaves have got a most beautiful taste. I've got that. Dill. I can never grow dill. Look at this. It looks like I'm killing this one, to be honest. But that is going to be gorgeous. That's an annual. So I'm going to pot that up some really, really nice soil and hopefully use that throughout the summer. This one, again, is one for you to sniff. I mean, it's lovely. That is a rosemary, yes, you can see, but it's actually not just any old rosemary, it's ginger. Ginger rosemary. Absolutely gorgeous. This one is camphor thyme. And it's just got this, I mean, this is how I always go around herb nurseries. I'm probably a bit of a herb vandal, but you've got to really sort of squeeze some of the flowers to be able to smell. And oh, it's just got a really old-fashioned medicinal smell to it. And you can see I squash it a bit there, but it's a tough little fella. So that's going to go in a nice terracotta pot, I think, and make sort of a rounded bush. I think that'll be lovely. Here we've got the magic of Stevia. Again, if you eat one of these, it is so, so sweet. I can't remember how many times the sweetness of sugar it is, but yeah, just one of those leaves in a tea or a coffee, or in particular a herbal tea. Bless it, it does need watering. Really sweetens it incredibly well. You can't believe that something so natural could be something so sweet. Again, that's an annual, but I might try, I don't know if I'll be able to save seed. I might try and save some seed, or I might try and overwinter some cuttings this year. And then here at the end is my gorgeous, gorgeous lemon verbena. And this is the most lemony scent. I've got lemon balm. Lemon balm will grow anywhere and everywhere. But my lemon verbena last year, I lost it. My own fault, I left it outside. They are frost tender, so I'm going to try and remember to be good to this one this year. And again, I might try and get some, take some cuttings and sort of propagate some new plants. But yeah, that's what I've got so far. I can't remember the mint. It was an unusual mint. It might come back to me. Have a sniff. What do you think? Okay, well, hopefully you're going to be able to see. Oh, the sun keeps going in. It's beautiful a second ago. Hopefully you can see that we have been busy. we haven't been ignoring the plot or sitting at home twiddling our thumbs, doing other things. We have actually been down here doing lots of stuff, and there's still loads of stuff to do, but the list is getting shorter. So yeah, and I mean, the fact that I did do a video just over a week ago and I took it home, oh, you can't imagine how frustrating it is when you get back and you realise, you know, your batteries have gone. Even though I checked, even though I kept checking and doing playback on the camera, and the first couple of seconds there was sound, so I thought it was okay, but then of course the batteries went. It's so frustrating because there is quite a lot of time and effort goes into it. So I must admit that knocked me back a bit. And I thought, right, the next few times I go down, I'm not taking my camera, I'm just going to get down there, get my head down and get some work done. So that's, yeah, that's one of the reasons there hasn't been a video for a while. However, all going well, we should now be able to resume once a week, if not once a fortnight, but preferably once a week. I mean, I've always said to myself, if I get to the stage where it starts to feel like a burden, and actually doing the filming, etc., seems like a burden, because it does take a long time. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. The shed door's creaking, I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know if Mike's doing that deliberately. You never know. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy doing it. People say about the garden, they say, oh my goodness, haven't you got other things to do? You know, how can you do that? It must be such a lot of hard work. It is hard work, but I think the very fact that you're watching this means that you appreciate gardening yourself and you appreciate just how much you get back from it. And I certainly do. And I certainly get a lot back from feedback from yourselves and from being able to put the videos out there. But yeah, I don't want it to be a case of I'm just going to come up and do a video because, you know, I feel duty bound to do one. So I don't know, is that wrong? Everyone does it differently and people do, you know, I don't get anything from it. I do. I get lots of feedback and lots of, I suppose, justification for what I'm doing through the feedback. But, you know, it's certainly not for money or for glory. And I just think, you know, it'd be nice if it was. It'd be nice if it was for money and glory, or either. That would be quite nice. But yeah. So anyway, that's my little thing. Oh, and of course, there's other things going on. You know, we've all got lives outside our garden. Fortunately, stroke unfortunately. Fortunately, when it's all going well, everything's hunky-dory, but there are times when there are other things that take up your time, you know. So okay, seen all this, seen my herbs. One of the things I want to tell you, I've got two things to catch up with you with, and one's over there. Oh no, it's not, it's over there. Oh, never mind. Is the one thing that ties in with Charles Dowding. I know you're probably sick of Charles Dowding by now. And Kelly's Kitchen Garden. Kelly alerted me to the fact she put a video out a few weeks ago now. I will put the link up below, relating to one of Charles Dowding's videos where he's talking about the herbicide that is coming through in horse manure. And what it is, it's a herbicide, I can't remember the name, I will put it below. It's a big long name. That's all you need to know, but I will put a link. And it's being used to spray grass, you know, as a chemical herbicide. And the grass is then made into straw. And because it's been eaten by horses, it's not necessarily, the herbicide itself isn't being digested thoroughly. And what's happening is what comes out the other end goes onto our garden, and it's actually starting to directly affect the crops. And if you look at Charles's video, he shows you signs, the first sort of signs of it happening, and it'll be the top leaves of your plants suddenly start to curl for no apparent reason. You can't think of anything that you've done. There doesn't seem to be any sort of sign of disease or pest, but it could be that you've used some manure that's got hay in it, and hay that's been infected. And he is actually trying to kick up a bit of fuss about this so that, you know, the chemical companies will take a look at it and see, you know, what they can do. Because as Kelly says, we're all trying to do the best. I think a lot of us, is it more the new generation of gardeners? I call myself a new generation of gardeners. I'm as old as the hills. But a lot of us try and do the best by our gardens. We try and do things organically. And you would think manure is the safest and the oldest fashioned way of enriching your soil. and then to find out that unwittingly you might be putting something in your soil that's affecting your crops, I think it's just quite shocking. It's quite alarming. So yeah, have a look at the videos. If you know what a lunk is, do let me know. Have a look at the videos. I will put the clips down below. I won't put the clips down below, I'll put the links down below. I'm tired now, can you tell? We're actually going to the theatre tonight, so I'd love to stay down. It's now about 6:30 and we've got to be in our seats at 7:30. So when I turn the camera off now, it's going to be an absolute mad rush to get home, get washed, get changed, go to the theatre, but it's going to be fun. But it's just one of those evenings. I don't know what it's like by you when you're watching this, but it's been quite a warm, sticky day, but I love this time of night at the allotment. Everything just it's like the whole atmosphere just goes calm, you know, it's beautiful. Anyway, I've got 101 other things I was going to tell you. Can't think of any of them now. Hooray, you say it. Now she'll shut up. But yeah, like I say, please forgive the huge gap. There was nothing really I could have done other than trudge around the allotment looking really resentful and pointing at the odd weed, which I don't think would have been very enjoyable for any of us. So yeah, hopefully I'll be back very, very soon. And yeah, come along to the Facebook page, because that'll prove I've been doing stuff. It's all on there. Have a look at the Instagram. I'll put all the links below, and subscribe the channel, hit the bell to get notifications. And now I will shut up. Okay, I hopefully see you very soon. Bye.